on YouTube? This is Greg Ferris back here at Ferris for Fitness, and I'm just going to make a semi-quick vlog here. I haven't made one of these in quite a while. I've just been like not feeling like it, and post-workout seems to be the only time I feel like making these vlogs, so I figured I'd make one. I think I made one like 10 weeks out, and I'm currently 5 weeks and 5 days out for my first natural bodybuilding competition, which is the Natural Kansas City Classic, September 15th. So wish me luck on that. What I have here is my post-workout shake. It's 10 ounces of low-fat chocolate milk. I love chocolate milk. 1 scoop of Body Tech Vitamin Shops house brand Whey Pro 24 or something like that. I love that whey right now because it only has 1 gram of fat and it fits really well with my macros during contest prep. A few grams of creatine, also ice. For some reason I forgot how much just adding ice to your protein shake can make it taste better. I have like a magic bullet. My roommate has a magic bullet, shout out to him. Just adding like ice to your protein shake can make it like 10 times better. So double chocolate with the chocolate milk with chocolate whey is awesome. But getting that in post-workout. So the main point I wanted to make about this vlog is a few things that I've noticed with my prep, especially in the last 4 weeks. I don't like to talk about huge details of my prep. Because I'm predominantly doing my prep myself, and I don't come off as someone who is a prep guru or a prep coach. You know, this is my first show. I've only been lifting for a few years. I'm by no means an expert, so I don't want to put out what I'm doing as kind of a template for what other people should do. You know, what I'm doing is probably very similar to what a lot of other coaches would do, or educated coaches, I would assume anyways. But again, I don't like to get into a whole bunch of details because, again, it's just, I don't think top of the line knowledge as far as I'm concerned. It's just what I think is best for me, and what I'm doing is best as far as my knowledge. So the main thing I wanted to talk about is the value of food volume. And some people might think, oh, no shit, right? Like, of course, he's making a video about this, but I'm a big proponent of flexible dieting. Because, you know, it has the same physiological effects as far as your body composition, your health, as long as it's, you know, used in moderation. And you could probably make the argument it's superior as far as psychologically, you know, keeping you sane, preventing, you know, binges and going off your diet and things like that. So I'm definitely a proponent of flexible dieting, you know, as I'm drinking chocolate milk, like 20 grams of sugar, right? So, but the thing I've realized in the past 4 weeks, which is kind of a, you know, no duh moment, is the value of food volume and how drastic really it can make a difference as far as your hunger level goes. You know, there comes a point, if you're trying to get really lean, which I know is not most people's goals to get, like, you know, contest prep lean, but there comes a point where you're going to be either really low calorie or doing a lot of cardio or doing both. And for most people it's probably both. What you have to realize is, what I've realized, at least in the past 4 weeks predominantly, is that I kind of got to that point where I was like just chronically hungry. And, you know, I'm still using the flexible diet template and whatnot, but I found that sticking to a protocol of predominantly micronutrient dense foods that are more filling, you know, just something simple as like a chicken and spinach salad, or a tilapia and green beans or stuff like that. That's predominantly like the only time I really eat other foods. I guess, you know, you could throw in the chocolate milk, stuff like that, but not to 90 to 95% of my intake are foods like that. And it's not because, you know, the Pop-Tarts and the ice cream and stuff like that is inferior in any ways, as long as your macros are being hit. But to me, it's just more important to be full all day, or be, you know, semi-full, not as hungry, as opposed to the instant gratification I might get from having a couple of Pop-Tarts and then being hungry in like 30 or 45 minutes. So, you know, again, I'm not saying that there's going to be a big difference as far as the effects it's going to have on your body, but if it's going to make a difference as far as you not, you know, being hungry, that can make a big difference. Definitely just making you feel better. It's obviously going to probably improve your performance in the gym. So I want to make that a point that you definitely, when you're trying to you know, even if your goal is to try to lose those last 5-10 pounds or something like that, to really try your best to stick to those filling foods, you know, whatever those foods are for you. You know, they don't have to necessarily be the low glycemic carbs or whatever. You know, I found out that like white potato is one of the most filling foods there is, and you know that most people would think of that as like a dirty food or whatever. So just find foods that help you feel full, and that's going to, you know, prevent you from, you know, going out and, you know, having a buffet or whatever, because you can only resist temptation for so long. And if you're just hungry and hungry and hungry and hungry, you know, every day you're hungry like that, it just increases the likelihood of you going out and, you know, getting off your diet. So definitely don't underestimate the value of food volume. You know, again, I'm 5 weeks and 5 days out, and I'm at the point where I'd rather have a chicken and spinach salad for lunch and be full for the next 4 or 5 hours than have some chicken and, you know, 2 Pop-Tarts and be hungry in 2 or 3 hours and then, you know, suffer for 3 or 4 more hours. So a big point I wanted to make there. Also, a few more things that I just kind of changed in my prep that aren't really, you know, educational to anyone, but if you're curious, I was doing a upper lower day off, push pull lower off for my training split. So I was training 5 days a week as far as resistance training goes, and now I've switched up starting today, or tonight actually. It's going to be upper off, lower off, upper off, lower upper. Yes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So I'm training just an upper lower split pretty much, and I like to do lower on Mondays because, you know, everyone's doing bench press on Mondays, so it kind of just helps with the gym crowd and whatnot. So I felt like 5 days a week was kind of getting a toll on me as far as, you know, the last few weeks of prep, and my cardio has been increasing a little bit more than I would like, but you know, it's gotta happen if you want to get lean, or get to a certain point of leanness, I guess. Man, that's good. So yeah, I've switched to a 4-day resistance training split. You know, my cardio is kind of all over the place. I usually just do some cardio post-workout in the gym on the days that I lift, and then hit cardio on my off days where I'm not training. My macros are also kind of fluctuating slightly depending on if I train on that day or not, and I typically have like a 1-day refeed as well. I felt like finding a mix between HIIT and low intensity, or even, you know, middle intensity cardio. I'm not a big fan of just like walking for an hour. I feel like you should at least be breaking sweat. But I feel like finding a mix between those two has been really beneficial, because I don't think you can just do like 4 or 5 days of HIIT cardio and recover very well. But I also think that HIIT cardio has its place, definitely has its place in the fat loss or even, you know, muscle gain set routine. So I felt like the main things I want to talk about in this video, really point A was the food volume thing, and also just kind of update you guys on where I am. My weight is 153-ish right now, you know, depending on when I wake up in the morning. Weight loss, fat loss, kind of slowed the last few weeks a little bit, you know, slower than I'd like. I've lost right around under a pound on average, which isn't bad, but you know, I still got a lot of work to do, 5 weeks and 5 days out. But you know, I hit a kind of a little wall there, probably about 8 or 9 weeks out, where I was just like every day felt like a grind. But lately, the past few weeks, especially the past few days, I don't know if it's a new apartment or, you know, college is about to start, you know, class is about to start, whatever. Something, you know, things are just going really well for me now. Psychologically, I'm not feeling like it's such a grind. You know, workouts are still hard, the weights are feeling heavy and whatnot. Another point I wanted to make, I'm cutting volume back a little bit. I feel like that's, you know, pretty much a given when you're trying to do contest prep. You know, a lot of people have the idea that you need to do high reps and crap like that and stay in the gym longer, but all you really need to do, your goal when you're trying to lose weight or lose fat, whatever, realistically, I'm sorry, you're not going to put on muscle. You're just trying to maintain that muscle. So you really want to cut back volume a little bit and make sure you're trying to keep the same weight you were using in the off season or when you were bulking or maintaining, but you don't want to give an example, like typically I would do about 4 or 5 sets of bench press on my upper body day, and now I'm usually doing about 3. You know, just cutting back a little bit like that. You know, typically I would do, you know, 13 sets a week for chest, and now I'm doing like 9 or something like that. You know, it doesn't have to be drastic volume changes like, you know, HIIT style training or something like that, but I do think there's a point where you're just not going to have that endurance. I found that my strength isn't down very much at all, which is a really good thing considering I've lost like 30 pounds. But holding that strength throughout multiple sets has been down. So I feel like it's been beneficial to, you know, get 2 or 3 good sets in and then move on. So I felt it was another good tip to give to you guys. And also, I'm just not a big fan of isolation movements, and this prep has made me even lesser of a fan of isolation movements. My bicep and tricep direct work has been like usually between 6 sets, so probably about 6 sets a week on average. You know, I really just fall in love with compound movements. The longer that I lift, the more I go towards compound movements and less isolation movements. So that's my kind of 5 weeks out, 5-day out rant, post-workout rant, guys. That's pretty much what I feel like talking. Again, I don't want to get into too many specifics because, you know, I'm just not qualified. I'm not a prep coach. You know, I'm doing this on my own. I'm just using my own knowledge. So thank you guys for the support as always on my journey to my first show. I will hopefully have a lot more videos coming soon. I'm trying to get up as many as I can about many topics I think will be helpful to everybody. So thank you guys for watching, and I will have more good information.